Hi, I'm Susan Poizner from orchardpeople.com, and thank you so much for joining me for this workshop today. The workshop is called Growing Fruit Trees with Ease, Easy Ways to Keep Your Fruit Trees Healthy and Productive. I grow my fruit trees in my local park, and I have learned about growing fruit trees the hard way. I learned by making mistakes, and my goal in creating workshops like these is to help you grow fruit trees without having to make all the mistakes that I have made over the years. So, in a minute, we'll dive into the workshop, and what I'm going to teach you is a 9-step process to growing fruit trees with ease. So, in each step, you will learn different ways to keep your fruit trees healthy and productive. They're all easy, by the way, so it's all good. Anyways, let's dive into the course, and I will be back in a minute for our first workshop. My story begins back in 2008, in a small, underused park just up the road from where I live. Toronto is a very developed city. There's lots of concrete and high-rise buildings, so having a little bit of green space in our city is a special thing. One problem was that this green space was neglected and a little bit grotty. One day I saw somebody doing Tai Chi in the park, and I had to take a picture because it was so unusual. You hardly ever saw anyone using this precious space. I started to wonder if there was a way that I could help bring people to the park. As an organic gardener, I loved growing vegetables, but veggies are a lot of work, lots of weeding and lots of watering. But then I had a great idea. Why not grow fruit trees in the park? They're beautiful with their gorgeous blossoms. They can offer the community free, delicious organic fruit, and to top it off, they're so much easier to grow than vegetables. I couldn't imagine why nobody had thought of this before. Well, reality set in not long after we planted the trees in 2009. I was working with a great group of fellow volunteers, and many of us were experienced gardeners. But our knowledge of fruit trees was pretty limited. We knew we had to mulch our trees, so we mulched them with cedar mulch, as you would do with a native or ornamental tree. And we knew we had to water them too, but that was about the extent of our knowledge. Sadly, that wasn't enough. Just a few months after planting our first trees, we noticed that we had some problems. First, the pears were hit with ugly orange spots appearing on their leaves. Next, the plum trees didn't look too good. Parts of their branches became swollen and black, symptoms of a disease called black knot. Each time I saw a problem in one of our trees, I just crossed my fingers and hoped the problems would go away on their own. Instead, the challenges got worse and worse. Here I am not a happy person. This tree had black knot in its branches and deep into its trunk. A bit of pruning could not remove the problem. Here my heart is breaking as I work on cutting down and removing the whole tree. Eventually it dawned on me. These problems were not going to get better on their own. I felt frustrated and hopeless. Oh darn, I thought. What is the minimum that I need to do in order to keep our fruit trees healthy and productive? I took countless books out of the library, and I became more and more confused. I watched YouTube videos and felt overwhelmed. And so then I raised some money and brought in experts who could teach us in our park. These experts came from the Niagara region of Ontario, over 2 hours drive away, to teach us fruit tree pruning, pest and disease prevention, soil and fertility management, and lots more. Slowly, over 3 years, I started to understand the basics of what we needed to do to keep our trees healthy and productive. And as I learned and made mistakes, I wrote my book, Growing Urban Orchards. My book would go on to win a Silver Award of Achievement in 2014, and soon it became a fruit tree care guidebook for people like us, people who were lost in a crazy fruit tree growing vortex and who just wanted to find a simple way out. And so that's why I'm here today. In this workshop, I'm going to give you a step-by-step plan to help you grow fruit trees successfully. The first steps are designed for new growers, folks who haven't even invested in their first fruit tree yet. And later steps are for those of us with mature trees. Even if you have an older or mature tree, it's important that you tune in for those early steps too, because they may explain to you why you've been having some problems so far. So, are you ready? Let's dig in. In the next lesson, we'll learn about fruit tree cultivars and how the right one can make your fruit tree growing journey so much easier.